So all the talk at one point was, pues ya está soltero, and
Single
exactly. So we could expect big things from Chicharito, as though somehow his wife was responsible
I never thought
for
of what Sarah. I forget her last name. I
for
never
his
thought of her as like a
shitty play.
Yoko Ono type.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I didn't realize the Galaxy were the Beatles over here.
Thank you for downloading and listening to West Box Score. I'm Alex Gonzalez, joined by Sonny and Mono from the Fox Crate Podcast. What's up, Sonny?
What's up, Alex? Man,
welcome
dude.
back.
I feel like it's been a minute since you and I have hopped on at the same time.
It's been too long, man. I feel like it's been over a month, I want to say.
Yeah,
dude.
man. It's crazy.
Man,
You know,
I don't recognize you with the haircut.
I don't recognize you with the haircut now.
Look at us coming out of the pandemic with fresh cuts, fresh time off, recharging, some recharging, some rebooting. Like D-Bot is out right now. The bot is being rebooted, recalibrated. He's going to rebuild, redesign, reclaim the
software
throne.
is being updated right now.
Oh, man. When he comes back, those stats are going to be off the charts.
That's right.
Just get ready.
That's right.
Oh,
Shout
man.
out
You
to
guys
our
ain't ready.
boy. Shout out to our boy D-Bot.
The big D-Bot's going to come back stronger. You watch, West Box Score listeners. He's coming with a vengeance. Be ready. But for now, you just got me and Sonny. We're going to try our best to hold it down and also let you know to check out Sonny's podcast, the Fox Crate Podcast. New episodes coming soon.
Yes,
Not going to say when.
Yeah,
Not gonna say
never.
when.
Yeah, as the old adage goes, undersell, overdeliver. So
Absolutely. The Fox Crate Podcast is also on Instagram at the Fox Crate. Donald, D-Bot, and I are on Twitter and Instagram as well at Westbox Score. And be sure to follow our media partner, Blue Wire Hustle. They're on Twitter at Blue Wire Hustle. Also in the show notes, we'll throw a little link for the Discord that's ongoing. D-Bot started up a Discord, man.
I heard one of the episodes y'all was shouting me out, trying to get me on the Discord. I'm like, what the fuck is Discord? That's just me showing my age. You know,
okay, boomer.
I'm a proud millennial, but that's one of the gaps. It's hard to keep up, man. It's like, dude, I'm still trying to say take my money with these NFTs and figure out how that shit works. Dude,
I was looking up NFTs, like, where are they stored? Like, what do you do with them? Like, once you have them, I honestly don't know. That's how old I am.
Speaking of which, that is going to be the first topic we tackle on the Fox Crate Podcast when we come back. So stay tuned for that, because we got our thoughts on NFTs. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, man, it's dope. I hear the Discord. There's some fans up on there for the West Box Score, which is awesome. Shout out to them.
Shouts out to Big Money Matt and also Billy Delgado out there, man. They're holding it down, being very active on the Discord with us. So we always appreciate the love, guys. So let's get started, because it's this past week was WrestleMania week, but it got started off early in the purple on the court. The purple and gold, Montrezl Harrell getting involved right away, dude. But man, the reigning defending champion LA Lakers, man, are they how are they looking right now, Sonny?
So it's like game by game. You don't know what to expect with this team right now. For instance, they dropped a game midweek last week. Mm-hmm. As you said, Montrez was getting busy in that one, and got
putting
himself,
in work.
Yeah, exactly. And yet we took the L, of course. And then they had a big Showtime marquee matchup against the vaunted Brooklyn Nets of the Eastern Conference. And of course, I think all of us as Laker fans were just kind of chalking that one up as that's an L. Even though we knew that James Harden wasn't going to be playing for the Nets, we still figured, well, Durant, Kyrie, their whole super team of LaMarcus Aldridge, Blake Griffin, and all the has-beens from, a few years ago, we were just going to be like, well, I guess that's a now. Because, again, the Lakers, if you haven't been paying attention, are still without LeBron, still without AD. Drummond had just come back into the lineup, but yet he's still new to the system.
Right.
And then in this last game against the Nets, Kuzma was also out.
Right.
Marc Gasol was out. I mean, not that one matters much, but still, a lot of our go-to players were going to be missing in this game. So for sure, I don't know what I was thinking still tuning it on, but I'm glad I did. That's just the Laker affinity.
That's
like
a diehard in you, man.
Yeah,
you gotta watch.
I had to watch, and boy, am I glad I did. We've talked about having assignments on this podcast before. Alex had his assignment of covering WrestleMania.
Goddamn right.
and I had my assignment where I had to stick to the purple and gold.
That's your squad, bro.
And dude, they did the damn thing. They blew out the Nets. Now, mind you, Kyrie Irving got ejected in the third quarter, as did Dennis Schroeder,
right?
Because they got into a little tussle. But even up to that point, though, the Lakers were holding their own, man. They came in with so much energy, and it was like a relief to see, because I feel like emotionally speaking for the team, this could do wonders. I mean, I know it's just one game, whatever it may be, but for the guys who, have probably been looking around and be like, damn, when's LeBron? When are our guys coming back? Our leaders coming back? I think for them, it was like, yo, when you guys bring the right energy and that commitment to defense like they did in that game against the Nets, you guys don't need them as much as you think you need them. Of course, we're going to need them for the playoffs and to make that deep run. But from a game-to-game standpoint, if they bring that energy, man, it kind of gave me hope, because I know you guys have been talking about the Lakers potentially sliding down into the 7th seed. That play,
it's worrisome, dude. I mean,
it is.
At what point do you hit that panic button?
Yeah,
I mean, you gotta have your star players to contributing. I mean, your bench only takes you so far. The role players only take you so far, man. So I was worried. But so I'm curious to look back at these highlights of this game, because this is all like the role players and pretty much Drummond.
Drummond, dude. Drummond and it was nice to see Caruso back a little bit, because he's been MIA once LeBron, Caruno was more his name, while LeBron's been out. But I will say this. I'm going to go on record and say Andre Drummond is quickly becoming like top candidate for being my new favorite Laker.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Just because the way the dude carries himself, he's a stand-up. He seems like a stand-up dude. Seems is the operative word, because we think we know these players, and we really don't fucking know them at all.
We never do.
Don't get me started on Deshaun Watson again. But
exactly.
But he seems like a stand-up dude, a good teammate. He's a great interviewer. Anytime somebody puts a mic in his face, he's very humble, but he articulates well, which I can appreciate.
Yes.
You don't come across that often with jocks or athletes.
I agree. Baseball players are traditionally the worst.
Yeah, exactly. And especially
with the cliches.
Yeah, especially when you get the guys who think they're very smart and articulate, aka Trevor Bauer, who we'll get to later.
See later in this episode.
Yes, exactly. But anyway, so Andre Drummond, on top of all those, off the court things that he possesses, he brings it, and he also has a little bit of swag. Like, he was kind of talking shit to LaMarcus Aldridge yesterday, saying that dude's too small to guard me. And it was like, dude, like, I can't wait till we get LeBron and AD. And I'm praying that those dudes are healthy when they come back, because if we have those two guys with this dude, with Drummond, just from a chemistry standpoint, I see it like, oh, ain't nobody beating us, man. Like, this shit's over, as long as they stay healthy. So I will say that I hope to get D-Bot's thoughts on it,
of course,
when he comes back. What he thinks of, because I'm hoping he saw the game, but we'll see, man. But yeah, Lakers took care of the damn thing. We'll see. The stretch run is coming. There's about a month left of basketball, regular season basketball, before the playoffs start. So we'll see.
And the reports are that LeBron will be back just in time before the end of the regular season, right? I think I saw 3 weeks of timetable for LeBron, and AD is going to be reevaluated this week, potentially another week or so out. So like maybe 2 weeks or so at that point.
Yeah, they're saying maybe 10. Well, from the time of the recording of this podcast, they're saying maybe 10 days
from Thursday though, from the revaluation on Thursday.
Right, exactly.
So it could potentially be like the following Thursday. So we'll say about maybe 2 weeks at that point. So then 2 weeks for AD, 3 weeks for LeBron. That's right around the time.
And then it's playoffs, baby.
Then it's right around playoffs time. That gives them roughly about a week to gel, to get that chemistry together, which is what you were calling, which is what you was like, bring them back like the day before. Or
That's what I wanted, man. That's what I wanted. So
it's all coming together.
All coming together. Excellent.
There's the Mr. Burns hands over there. Awesome. All part of Sonny's master plan. Right. It's all working. Nice.
Yep.
Man, the riches for purple and gold are amazing right now. We're about to get them be spoiled all over again. I feel it. Right now we're going through a dark valley, but sunshine's on the horizon.
Yeah.
Purple and gold nation, believe it. The fruits of the Dodgers' labor were granted to them on Friday, opening day. They got their bling. They got their nice, shiny championship rings, man. It looked nice. The ceremony was beautiful. As a lifelong Dodgers fan, man, I saw the game later on in the day, but I had to go back and watch the entire ring ceremony, of course, right?
I watched the ceremony live as it happened. It was total by accident too. I was just flipping the channels, and sure enough, there it was. Like they were announcing. I seen Albert Pujols on the big screen, and I was watching a Dodger. Yeah, and I was watching the Dodger channel, Spectrum or whatever it's called now. And I was like, what the. I was like, am I watching the Angels channel or am I watching the Dodgers channel? What's going on?
Valley take over Spectrum Sportsnet too?
Exactly. Only to find out that I guess the Dodgers, what they ended up doing was this like each player that was presented with a ring, right? And you can correct me if I'm wrong. They were introduced virtually on the video board by one of their favorite players.
Yeah, like by their childhood favorite players, growing up. And shout out to Edwin Rios.
Yeah, shout out to Edwin Rios. That's right.
Who was he introduced by?
By the GOAT. Ichiro, baby. That's right. Put some respect on Ichiro's name.
And Ichiro in Spanish, dude. So congratulations on your ring. I never want a ring. Give me your ring, please.
Yep. I will maintain this about Ichiro Suzuki. He will go down as one of the coolest baseball players in the history of the sport, both from a fan perspective, and I think players, if you ask them, they're like, dude, that guy's the best.
Like a class player with swag and just fun, plays the game with a lot of fun, right?
Yeah, and technique.
Yeah,
both. So
what about running out of the box though and all those swings, man? It was just so nuts to see. Is that technique or
that's technique, baby?
All right.
Especially as a lefty,
it feels unorthodox.
As a lefty, that's what you should be doing.
Yeah, that's true.
So I was waiting though. I did find it kind of cheesy, right? Like that they did that.
Here we go. Here come the critics.
Look, it was funny to me. It felt very appropriate for the swaggerless Dodgers. I was like, okay, like this makes sense. They would be doing this. And then the whole time, once I saw that Albert Pujols, who's still currently quote unquote playing in the league, right? Although he's not doing much playing right now because the Angels have been benching him a lot. But I was like,
so that's why they've been winning.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
The whole time I was thinking to myself, I can't wait to see Joe Kelly's favorite player, because in my mind, I was thinking that it would be Carlos Correa who was going to pop out on the screen and be like, yo, Joe, you're my favorite. I'm glad you picked me. I know what it's like to work hard for a title that has to have an asterisk next to it. And
So you think all of Joe Kelly's titles have asterisks?
No,
the one in Boston,
technically, right?
Short and season.
It's
you gotta be a hater, bro. Just the hate. I've forgotten how much hate you have in your heart.
But then I thought, oh no, it would have made more sense if someone from the Astros spoke to Trevor Bauer about cheating.
He knows all about cheating, right?
But then I was like, but Trevor Bauer didn't get a ring, so okay.
Yeah, he did not get a ring. But before we get started on the Dodgers recap and Trevor Bauer nonsense, I got to give a big shout out to Zach McKinstry, who got his first career home run opening weekend. It was an inside the park home run, so that still counts, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to give him the first career home run. Keep that baseball young man.
Definitely.
So, and Zach McKinstry is our new Kike Hernandez. He's all over the place, and he's been playing really well going into opening day. He's been batting .300, which is great, especially from a rookie.
Yeah.
Like second-year player, I think he is. So it's great to see him doing well.
R.I.P. Kike.
I know. Kike had to die for you, man. So you got to live up to. You got to pick you in the river. So So, man, this is big ups to McKinstry, doing well so far. And then now it's time for our Trevor Bauer update that we look forward to and hate as well, because I mean, I've been keeping an eye on him on his YouTube page. I want to see what he's up to. I want to see what shenanigans he's doing. And it's so funny because I'd like him for the access he's giving to fans, right? Like the behind the scenes of going to the ballpark. And he's like really into the conditioning, the science of conditioning, right? Like,
yeah, the science of conditioning. I'm sure. And I'm putting quotations over here.
It's all bro science, dude. It's all
science.
And like he knows his branding. Like he knows he's a brand and he treats himself as such. I mean, he's got merch on his website, and I noticed right away on his stupid T-shirt, like it's a royal blue Dodger shirt with white lettering, and it has his Bauer outage logo, of course, because you can't escape that anywhere. And it says workout,
yeah,
and it's crossed out, and below it says outwork. I'm like, oh, that's actually a cool fucking slogan. I'm such a buyer of slogans. And like, oh, why must I buy into this stupid shit? I'm such a consumer whore that like, yes, I'd buy that stupid shirt to wear around and like work out in, and like, oh, of course. But no, there's something about Bauer, obviously, as we've talked about on the show. He's just so disingenuous. As much as he tries to be genuine and show you that like this is what it is like behind the scenes, it's like I don't buy him. And maybe it's just my hatred for him of seeing how he's been on Twitter. And especially, he goes to Twitter to try to defend himself. So what Sonny was talking about earlier was his quote-unquote cheating. So in that game against Oakland, the second game of the season, MLB took some of the baseballs he was using because there was some quote-unquote substance on those baseballs.
Right.
A dark substance,
right,
which could have been like pine tar or something, right?
Correct. Sticky substance,
yeah. which is illegal in MLB.
Correct.
Technically illegal. And of course, Bauer responds to it and says he claims it's clickbait from the gossip media. The person who reported this was Ken Rosenthal from The Athletic.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's
not just some schmo or schmuck that just is writing. It's not like one of us posted this shit.
Exactly. Hey, man, all due respect to John Boy, because he's legit too, but wasn't like it was John Boy tweeting this out.
Exactly.
I mean, okay, John Boy you could kind of get away with. He's not like a full-on journalist, but even though I love his stuff.
Yeah.
Shouts out to John Boy. Yeah. Shouts out to him anyway. But it's like, okay, there you might have had some kind of argument. But dude, this is Rosenthal. This guy's legit. Bauer, you need a better excuse from this.
How dare you talk shit about a journalist who wears a fucking bow tie on national television?
Put some respect on that bow tie.
Yeah, exactly. You think anybody could get away with that shit?
Nobody can.
With a straight face and give you the facts every time? No.
Hell no. So maybe that's why Bauer's been pitching so well lately. It's that pine tar. Let's see how he does in this third start now that the umps are keeping an eagle eye on him.
Yeah. You know, it's just... Obviously, he's not the first pitcher nor the last pitcher to use a quote-unquote sticky, substance. It's one of the unwritten rules of baseball, obviously. I mean, dating back to before our time. But what it sounds like with Bauer, this is where Bauer loses me. And this is where I say, fuck this guy, because he sounds like a guy who's just mad that he got called out for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
so that they're pointing the finger at him, so then he needs to point, all of them back, right? Like to be like, oh, fuck your fake journalism, or fake news, or however you want to phrase it. I'm putting words into his mouth, but
right.
Essentially what he was implying was that, it's clickbait, that they just want you to. He's a target, easy target, right?
And I think in that tweet about the clickbait, he says like, "Oh, but MLB is taking baseballs from a lot of other pitchers," and I don't recall if he named other names of pitchers because that would be very Michael Rappaport-esque of him.
Yeah, exactly.
If he named names,
but it wouldn't surprise me if somebody like Trevor Bauer did that shit.
Exactly, right?
And it's like, come on, he just sounds like a privileged piece of shit when he comes. That's how he comes off. When he attacks in the manner in which he does, because he thinks he's being so, let me expose the media for what it is. It's like, dude, we've heard this song before. Like, you're just playing the greatest hits here, and you're trying to leverage that to get the stink off of what you fucking did.
You exposing issues in the media doesn't excuse your mistakes.
Exactly.
And that's what he doesn't understand. And that's privilege,
Exactly.
whether it be racial or otherwise. It's just your entitlement is showing at that point. And it doesn't have to be just racial. It could be gender. There's a lot of male, privilege as well that we have. And we don't notice it sometimes, but this is exactly what Trevor Bauer is doing, though, unknowingly, but he needs to get called out on it. And he never gets called out on this, dude.
Yeah.
And that's like, look, I respect Dodger fans. We're gonna cheer whoever we want because we just see that Dodger uniform,
right?
And when they cheered him in Colorado and in Oakland, I'm like, okay, like
I get it.
That's a good performance.
It's hard. Yeah, how can you not root for the dude who's represent? Because it's a team sport at the end of the day. Right. It's not like tennis. It's not like golf. It's not like MMA or anything where you're like, fuck that. I want to see that guy get his ass beat. It's like he's still a cog in your whole team. So how can you, by rooting against him, you're rooting against your own team. So it's kind of backwards. I get it.
Yeah, I will say this. I'm not actively rooting against him. I'm glad he's doing well. His stats are showing that he's doing well. But it's just like, I can't give him a standing ovation even for a good performance.
Right.
It's like that whole this is going back, of course, because it's WrestleMania week this past week, wrestling in my head.
Yep.
It's going back to where the wrestlers want a reaction, good or bad, right?
Right.
So the best way to I guess combat Bauer for me would be to give him no reaction.
Right.
It's going to be like, okay, you pitched well, I'll give you a clap and that's it.
Yeah.
And then maybe I'm not going to give you a standing ovation. You could throw a no-hitter. I could be there and having never seen a no-hitter in person, I'd be super psyched. I don't know if I do the standing ovation just because of who he is. I probably would.
I respect that.
This is me though, sitting here as we're recording, getting caught up in the hype of seeing a no hitter. I mean, that would be the only way I'd give Trevor Bauer a standing ovation.
Roll the tape, Donald. Roll the tape, Donald. We're gonna remember this in September and October.
I mean, and that's why. Look I was so close to buying his stupid merch because he was winning me over a little bit with his YouTube. I'm like, all right,
he was winning you over with his knockoff Mamba mentality shit.
You know what? You're right. That's exactly what he is, though. But it's a knockoff, right? It's a disingenuousness about it,
right?
That I'm picking up on. Maybe it's because I have a bias toward him already, and I feel it. Maybe you and I really can't speak to it because we're a little bit too biased.
Yeah, I can tell you, I do actively root against him.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense.
And I'm not a Dodger hater, but I
You're
do.
Not. You're right.
But when he pitches, I'm like, I won't be mad if the Dodgers.
I want to see him get shellacked.
Yeah, I won't be mad if he gives up 9 runs in like the first 3 innings right now.
Well, that was opening day there. The second game of the season. But man, how are your Mariners doing, Sonny?
Next topic, please. No, they're actually they're doing better than I thought they would at this point right now. Given they're 4-4 going into today. We're recording this on Sunday. They're playing their 9th game right now they're wrapping up the series against the Minnesota Twins. They haven't got swept yet, which is great. They did win one series against your rival Giants to open the season. That was nice. Yeah, absolutely. Our starting pitcher, our ace, has not looked like an ace. He's been rocked the way I hope Trevor Bauer would have been rocked. And it's been kind of a mixed bag and kind of what I've expected from this team. I've maintained that they're 1 year away from actually being a legit like competitive squad. So 2022 is kind of what the expectation was for us as Mariner fans. Like, all right, we've been sold a bag of goods that all these kids, these prospects that we've kind of been developing, that by 2022 they're going to be ready, they're going to be rocking, and playoffs, here we come, baby. Playoff drought over. Now,
if 2022 happens and you guys miss the playoffs by 2 games,
fire everyone.
Fire everyone.
Fire everyone. Well, I say that because Jerry DePoto, our GM, has been there now. That'll be his 6th season. So he was the one who kind of sold us on, hey, it's going to take some time. I'm going to flip everything around, develop our farm system, which to his credit, he has. As far as on paper, the Mariners have had a highly ranked farm system for the last year and a half. One of the top 3, top 5 in baseball. So he did flip that around, but now it's all right. Now it's got to start to pay off, and obviously some of that requires some luck because these kids get to the pros and they got to stay healthy, like Kyle Lewis is on the IL right now. The reigning AL rookie of the year.
Unanimous rookie of the year.
That's right. And, and then you got other guys that they just got to be who we thought they were, to quote Danny Green. So,
yes.
So, yeah, to answer your question, if come 2022, we don't even come close to sniffing the playoffs, because I think if we were like in the hunt come September and it just boiled down to 2 games or 1 game, it's like, yeah, we were in the playoff run. Okay, we're there, kind of what you promised us.
Right.
But let's say it's more of the same, where we're like in last of the AL West or close to last. No, you got to fire the GM, you got to fire the head coach, and you got to get somebody. Theo Epstein, take our money, please. Come and be the savior for this lowly franchise that is the Seattle Mariners.
Didn't Theo Epstein take on a new role? I feel like Major League Baseball.
Yes, he did.
He's off the market.
Yes, he did.
Right
He's technically on the market, right? Because he's not associated with any team. He's just working for MLB. So for me, he's up for grabs. If he was tied to another team, then I would tell you, yeah, you're right, because he's already with that squad. But he's technically out there, so money talks, man.
It does.
Seattle's a great place to live. So, and
is it though?
Yeah. Hey, that's what Jeff Bezos tells us. So we'll see. But yeah, anyways, Mariners, not expecting too much. It's just fun to have baseball back, man.
Yeah, it is, man. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
On that note, I guess I'll do the obligatory Angels coverage.
Since
they are an LA team, LA adjacent, and they are in the AL West. I could tell you, I do happen to keep close tabs on what they do because they're in our division.
Our American League AL West correspondent,
representative, correspondent. That's part of my assignments. So they are tied for first with the. Well, unfortunately, cover your ears. You're not going to like to hear this, but the Houston Astros are fucking killing it right now. And
I've seen that.
Yeah. So are the Angels. They just lost one of their outfielders, Dexter Fowler, to an AL
former Colorado Rocky.
That's right. ACL tear. He's out for pretty much for the rest of the season.
That's rough.
Yeah,
man.
but outside of that news, they actually have been playing pretty solid ball, man. Their pitching rotation looks solid. Which I think all of us expected that to be their Achilles heel. It's still early, so we'll see. But like I said earlier in the show, top of the show, Albert Pujols not getting much playing time. And like you said, that may be the recipe for why they're doing so well, man, because he's almost a liability. But what do you think?
Well, I have a cousin who is a big Angels fan down there in Anaheim, and he mentioned to me recently that, now that once Pujols is gone, that he expects the Angels to do better. He said when they signed him 10 years ago, he's like, this is a terrible signing. I don't know why they're spending so much money on him. He's no good anymore anyway. This is 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Oh, no, this was like 7 years ago, I guess.
7 years ago, right? And he's like, we've been cursed since we've gotten him. So he thinks it's the Pujols curse. So that's why it was really funny when you mentioned that he hasn't been playing. I didn't even know that, but I saw that they have been winning. Well, that makes sense why they have been winning.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I mentioned last week that I was this close to going to an Angels game because I miss baseball so much.
Yeah.
And Dodger tickets are just way too hard to get right now. Deservedly so because they're defending champs. And I was gonna go all the way down there to see the Angels take on the Astros.
Oh man!
And I wanted to be like, am I really gonna go down there?
You would have been the dude with the trash can. Did you see that?
That was not me. Oh, that was not me. But I love Angels fans for doing that.
Yes.
Throwing out the inflatable trash can and then throwing out an actual trash can. Right? I think they were banging away at trash cans up in the bleachers. Yeah. Well done, Angels fans. Props.
I'll share with you a text message that my baseball group they sent me a text, and the text said this. It was the night of that game, and a Dodger fan, shout out to Uncle Jerry out there, he says, hey, props to Angels fans for that flying trash can. That's all the text said, right?
Yeah.
So then I hit him back with, I didn't know Albert Pujols grew wings. Needless to say, my Angel friends, my Angel buddies, Angel fan buddies, did not appreciate that.
Oh, come on. But you got to know as a fan of the team, there's certain players on your team that suck, right? Like, going back to Dodgers real quick, Kenley Jansen, I know he sucks. I know he shouldn't be closing for us anymore. It's like, you got to be self-aware. I mean, as much as I say that I'm a homer of my teams, and I am, I also am very critical of them when they need to be. Come on, Angels fans, do better.
Yeah, exactly.
You know he's a flying
Don't be
catch.
so sensitive. You know?
It's all fun. We're all having a good time. It's all sports.
Come on. And of course, the obligatory comeback for anybody who talks shit back to me is like, "Oh yeah, how the Mariners doing? How's their playoff run? About how many rings?" You know, if I had $1 for every time that comeback was given to me, I'd have $2. No, I'd be a millionaire, man. Like,
right?
it's the only thing that people, and I get it. And would I trade everything of my soul for a title? Absolutely.
All that vinyl behind you.
Would I sign
wouldn't.
Trevor Bauer 5 times over if it meant that we were going to win a title? Maybe. I might consider it.
You would sign your soul to the White Devil
To the
himself.
White Devil himself. That's right. That's right. So the white privileged motherfucker himself. No, I don't think I could stoop that. I've learned how to I learned how to live with losing like that. So yeah, it's not going to bring me much satisfaction.
What was it? Remember Ace Ventura: Pet Detective #2, the White Devil.
The White Devil.
What was it? What was the name? I can't remember it right now. But that's going to be Trevor Bauer's nickname now.
Yeah, exactly. Insert clip here.
Boom.
Equinsu Ocha!
What does Equinsu Ocha mean?
White devil.
Well, tell them I'm not.
I've only met you. How do I know? Equinsu Ocha! Equinsu Ocha! He said,
Let me guess. White devil, white devil?
yes, you speak what you do.
Moving on now. I love the way we're getting along so well, talking about baseball and our love of the game itself, and that we could root for different clubs and still love the game. Now we got to talk about something where we root for different clubs, and it doesn't matter that we root for different clubs.
That's right.
We still love the game, but I still hate your club with all my heart.
You know, and
That's
there's
MLS.
and there's hate in the players' hearts that represent your team. Apparently,
There's not hate.
There's hate because to say those malicious things,
it's oh my god,
to say
here we go.
offensive things like that are being not my players. My players aren't saying them. Your
I'm
players
sure they're
say-
not.
And
Okay.
correct me if I'm wrong. And we're gonna get into this right now. You're gonna let everybody know what's going on in Galaxy Land.
Absolutely. This is a MLS preview now.
That's
MLS
right.
season's about to
It's
get started.
coming
Next, later this week, as you're listening to this
17.
episode, man, we're about to kick off. MLS season 26 is about to kick off. LA Galaxy, LAFC. It's LA's title to win at this point, right? What LAFC or Galaxy are going to win the title this year for sure, right?
this
We know that.
feels
We
like
know
a-
that to be.
This feels like a bet.
We know this to be a fact that the MLS Cup is coming to LA. Is it coming to downtown LA? Is it coming to LA adjacent in Carson?
If there's going to be one LA team that you've already given the answer, you spoiled it because there's only one LA
Oh,
franchise.
man. Hater. But yeah, so the MLS season's about to get underway. Galaxy go to Miami. LAFC
Host the
They
new Minty franchise, Austin FC. Yeah.
All right. So the season, of course, is not even underway, but there's already controversy brewing over in Carson and LA Galaxy land, and that's because over the weekend, Sebastian Lletget was on Instagram. The team was going out to play their Tucson Cup games, and they're having hijinks. They're walking to the pitch, and so Sebastian Lletget's holding
Speaking
the
of
camera.
the White Devil.
Damn, dude, that's harsh. I don't think the White Devil, and I think Sebastian Lletget, just so you know. So he's walking behind Julian Araujo, and he's walking up to him, and he's going, hey, slaps him on the back of the neck, and yells a very offensive term.
That rhymes with what?
That rhymes with Juto?
Okay.
Judo.
Oh, it's what our brethren when they watch Mexico play, unfortunately,
Yeah.
scream every time the opposing goalie has a goal kick. You know,
Yes.
it's
And-
like it's not the Mickey character, Mickey's little dog. It's not that dog that they're shouting.
Yeah, it's not Pluto.
No, but it sounds a lot like Pluto. Yeah.
It does. And it's offensive, yes. It's not a cool word to say by any means. You should not be saying it. And this is obviously Sebastian Lletget trying to fit in with the Mexicanos in the LA Galaxy, and I think it went very wrong for him.
Let's wait, time out. As two Latinos here, okay, I feel like we can dive in a little deeper into this.
Let's please.
Okay. This gets into sports, but it also gets just into just regular culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you, as Alex just mentioned. It's a word that when translated directly is very offensive.
Right.
You know, yeah, I don't know how else to, that's all I'll say about that.
Right.
However, it is a word that, as many other words in the Spanish language, from a slang standpoint, right, that has over time evolved to mean or to emote, you know, a reaction or a feeling, especially amongst the Latino culture, right? When you say that, it's not necessarily that you're meaning literally what the definition of that word is. It's that it's like that word has almost gotten associated with, you could say it means you're a clown.
Yeah.
You could say it means
yeah,
you're
it's not
a
necessarily
fool.
a slur.
Right.
It could also just be an insult, but that's not necessarily anti-gay slur.
And in some cases, and I know this is going to sound strange to anybody who maybe doesn't speak Spanish or is not Latino, in some cases it's said in an affectionate way, which sounds weird. I understand that, but it is said like, it's like right now I could be like, oh, come on, fucker. I could say that to Alex right now.
Yeah.
But it's with a hint of affection, like,
yes,
you know,
context being key, really, right? And as you could see, Lletget wasn't saying it in a derogatory way. He was kind of doing the affectionate
exactly,
way.
and that's what I want to kind of, and that's why I wanted to do a deeper dive to not just be on the surface, be like, your boy said this and that's wrong.
Right.
It's context is everything. The fact that we use this term or have used this term in that sense is the bigger problem, and that's what needs to get kind of erased and washed away slowly but surely, and we all can contribute to that.
Yes.
But we can't all have our pitchforks out for him just when you read those headlines to be like, oh, I can't believe it's like, you got to understand the context, and hopefully you can understand why he felt comfortable saying that to somebody like, you know, in this case it was Araujo that.
Oh yeah, Julian Araujo. But I love the way in that video, as soon as he hears he reacts to the slap on the back of the neck.
Yeah.
You know, like, what the hell, bro? And then he hears him say, like, it registered what he said, and then he points at him and he's laughing. He's like,
laughing.
Dude, you can't be saying that.
He's laughing.
Like, but he's pointing him out too. It's like, oh, I just caught you slipping when you shouldn't be saying that, like, type of thing. It wasn't like an angry cancel, but it was also like, oh, dude, you're recording yourself, and you know you shouldn't be saying that.
Exactly.
So you're gonna catch shit for it.
So it's go ahead.
And he got out in front of it. He deleted the post, but he also referred back to it and said, I realized what I said was wrong. I gotta do better. You guys expect better from me too. So like something I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, I gotta do better. And I think that's important. I think you got to realize he says he realized what was wrong. It's not the end of the world. You shouldn't get pitchforks out for him either. But I think he does need to do better, and he needs to do something. And I think maybe he should look into like some kind of organization to, especially in Latino community, homosexuality is not very accepted.
You know what I would
know that.
You know what my argument would be towards this, and again, this is taking more of a macro view of it. Okay. I think it's somebody that like Araujo that should champion it and be like, you know what? It's because the onus is on us as Latinos who have become acceptant of that. Even again amongst themselves. The highlight here was that somebody who's not in that inner circle, right, aka not Latino, in this case Sebastian Lletget, being white or Anglo, that was like the big like he just said something that he shouldn't have said, because I guarantee you those other players are still saying it, the Latinos, and they're just not being caught on camera saying it.
Yeah, that's very true.
And so that's why I think I don't need Sebastian Lletget to do anything like any outreach for it, because it's being said by his teammates, and he's just going to do it for face at that point. I mean, I
see.
I believe him when he says, oh shoot, my bad. I now realize, or I didn't realize, but now I do, how offensive that one term can be perceived when just read. So I think the onus is more like on a player like Araujo or the other Latinos on Galaxy to be like, you know what, we as a collectively, like we should all know better, and we should teach our brothers who don't know any better, because they probably hear us say this shit all the time.
Yeah.
So we will be donating or contributing to a Latino cause that's pro LGBTQT.
Yes.
That should be, I think, that would be more effective. That would be more like, okay, as a unit, they're concerned about this, you know?
Yeah, very well said. And you know what it almost reeks of too? It's almost like Lletget's like that kid who gets caught cursing when really it's the parent who's always cursing.
Exactly.
And the kid just picked up on the word.
Exactly.
It's like
it's exactly what it was. It's exactly what it was.
So yeah, man, it's Lletget. It's not the end of the world, buddy. But yeah, like you said, well said, Sonny. That's very true. The Galaxy organization as a whole, the Latino players need to get out in front of this and stand by him for them speaking that way.
Yeah, because or else it feels like they just kind of left him on his own. Like,
yeah, like, hey, bro,
you fucked up, dude. And it was like, damn. I mean, you guys already had an issue, right, with your affiliate team earlier last year, right? Wasn't it?
Oh yeah, the Galaxy 2 players
they were anti-gay slurs, right? That the players themselves, that Landon Donovan had the San Diego team just walk off the field. Right. Like, we can't be saying this shit. So seems like a cult. I'm telling you, seems like a franchise. Seems like a franchise thing there. I'm just saying, top bottom.
I think I don't think it's a franchise thing. I think it's a culture thing. I think a lot of Latinos on the Galaxy. Yeah. I think this is what we have to do better.
I don't feel comfortable them representing them having the LA next to them. That's not my team.
Hey, how do they do the LA? Is the L in front or behind the A? Ask Vela, because I'm sure he doesn't know.
Oh man,
that's a whole nother dumb thing on Twitter.
Yeah,
giving LA Galaxy fans giving Carlos Vela crap.
Don't worry, pretty soon he's not going to do an A. He's going to do a W like this for LA Galaxy fans.
Nah, I don't think
just
think
like
so.
This, like the woo.
So the Galaxy are the reason I said that the MLS Cup is coming to LA this year, and I really am tongue-in-cheek about it, but I think the Galaxy are going to be a heavily improved team. This time they're going to be potentially a playoff team. I really think they're a playoff team at this point.
There's only one way to go, buddy.
I mean, you can't do any worse, right? I mean, you got to improve Chicharito already, right? Like once he doubles his goals from 2 to 4 goals, he's already the most improved player in the MLS, right? Like that's what I said he's going to win, the most improved player in the MLS. So from 4 goals already, he already improved.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that guy made some bold life moves, right? He's recently divorced.
Is he recently divorced? Is that official? Because that's the speculation.
Well, separated. I don't know if it's officially. I don't know if it's official that they're divorced, but all the
it's heavily speculated.
See, I tune into the cochinera that is Mexican,
give me the real stuff.
Mexican or Spanish dominated news, and so obviously soccer is a big part of their coverage.
República Deportiva,
That's right. That's right. So all the talk at one point was, pues ya está soltero, and like
single now.
Exactly. So we could expect big things from Chicharito, as though somehow his wife was responsible
I never
for.
thought of what Sarah. I forget her last name.
For
I
his
never thought of her as like
play.
a Yoko Ono type.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I didn't realize the Galaxy were the Beatles over here.
You know who I did think of as a Yoko Ono type is his life coach, Diego Dreyfus.
Oh, okay.
That guy seems like a Yoko Ono type of anything.
Yeah.
That's who he needs to get rid of.
Yeah, that's what the Patriots used to say about TB12 and his coach. Remember the guy that was big on branding Tom Brady with the whole TB12 and Tom Brady having his own workouts and stuff like that. Yeah, how'd that work out for the Patriots? Calling him Yoko Ono.
Oh man, Jesus. Well, so and obviously, Chicharito's been working out now. Like that's his new branding. He's working out more. Of course, he's a single guy. I honestly thought he said it was to make amends to the Galaxy fans, right? Like he gave a shit, right?
It was to stick it to his ex-wife. That's what he's doing.
What is that? Just the revenge body?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that what he's doing?
He's like, oh yeah, and I'm a professional soccer player. I guess this will help that too.
Oh man, poor Chicha, man. give him so much shit on this show. But I really want him to do well this year. I want him to do better, and I think the Galaxy as a whole unit are gonna be a little bit better. They got a new coach, hopefully just a new method of playing. That's finally a style to stick to is what I want to see from this Galaxy squad, and they're gonna be looking good in those nice community kits that they got now, because those are some nice ass jerseys, dude. But honestly, I think some big signings. They signed a couple of French players now. One from League One, one from League Two. And then they also got a veteran midfielder, Victor Vasquez, from Spain. I don't know much about it, but Sonny, do you know a little bit about it?
No, I didn't even know about this signing. Victor Vasquez from what club?
He's played in Barcelona's system.
That don't mean shit.
He is Barcelona. Barcelona.
I can hear it now. Just the touting. Oh, we have a player from Barcelona.
Barca. Is it Messi? Then no, we don't care.
No, it's the guy who carried Messi's water.
But he's looked good. He scored a goal for them in the preseason. So I'm telling you, this Galaxy team is going to figure things out. Maybe I'm just being super optimistic in my super homer eyes, but I really think. And here, you wanted to bet. I'm going to give you a bet.
All right.
Here we go. I will bet. This is a long-term bet.
Okay.
Though. This is not for just at the end of the season, or it could end this season.
Sure.
But I say the Galaxy win an MLS Cup before LAFC wins an MLS
Cup. How much, my friend? How much is legally available? Are we legally allowed to do this? We may have to edit this on the pod, or we're going to have to bleep the amount. But yes, how much? Because let me give you
betting stimmy checks here?
Yes. Well, you're not far, because there's some precedents here. Shout out to that baseball group that I mentioned earlier. Within that same chat 2 years ago, I had two buddies of mine, one an Angel fan, one a Dodger fan. God bless the Angel fan for even thinking of doing this, but they bet $1,000 on which team was going to win the World Series first.
Yes.
And of course the Dodgers cashed in for one of those buddies, and that same day we seen the Venmo transaction. All of us were witnesses, and it was like, damn, I can't believe you had the balls to make that bet as an Angels fan, considering how dominant the Dodgers have been over the last couple years. So that feels very similar to this situation.
But see, once again, my balls are not as big as that Angels fan, because I would bet maximum $100. $100, and that's
so
for
much
me, that's
faith.
a big bet.
So much faith in your squad. That $100, you just got two stimmy checks.
I'm not like Chicharito here. I don't have the divorce money coming through.
Oh, I'm sure he doesn't have but yeah, exactly.
That's the thing, right?
We'll make it interesting.
We will make it interesting, but I will say that Galaxy before LAFC win a championship, because I was thinking about this. Okay, first off, give me your LAFC preview. How are they going to look this year?
Look, if Bob Bradley was ever on the hot seat, it's now. I think we've been patient as a new franchise. Obviously they came out like gangbusters their first season, and just kind of exceeded expectations, because the hype was there, but you can't really.
They lived up to the hype. I feel like
they definitely lived up to the hype, but at the same time, it was like, okay, you have to, as a fan, you have to like quell your expectations, because like this is a brand new team in the entire league. So, and yet they did make it to the playoffs. They sadly lost in the first round. It's been well documented, right? Okay.
Yeah. Next
year, though, now there are legit expectations, because you have to build upon what took place in your previous season. And they did that, right? They went one step further. That was the whole, classical playoff match. They finally got that monkey off their back. They're back. They beat Galaxy in the playoffs, because they hadn't beat them in the regular season up to that point. That's when Galaxy had another problematic player in Zlatan. I'm thinking about it. You guys love your problematic, players.
Zlatan was never problematic. He was just honest with the MLS.
Yeah. So, anyways, LAFC has been kind of ascending, right? They've been closer and closer, and now it's to the point where, as fans, now we have realistic expectations, because the roster turnover hasn't really turned over in a way where you would think, oh, we got worse, right? There's been a couple players here and there, but they've reinforced. So last year, fine. We'll give you the exception, the excuse that was COVID, right? Because we know LAFC got hit hard with COVID last year, right in the playoffs. And, and that's not to say that they were the only team, but it's one of those where, okay, fine, you lost a year to COVID, but now it's a full season again. Now there's no more excuses. You have most of your roster coming back. You signed some new players. You got younger. You lost Brian Rodriguez, but I'd say we got better with the signings at LAFC.
Well, yeah, who have you lost and who have you added? I think is what me as a LA Galaxy fan, I haven't really seen who you've added, who you've lost. So I didn't know you lost Brian Rodriguez. That's a big loss, at least for my eyes. Seeing what you guys are seeing, what we're up against, on the pitch. And do you guys still have Latif Blessing?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, but he's like kind of our sixth man, or I guess in this case, 12th man.
He's a little bit of a pest.
Yeah.
When I see him playing against the Galaxy, it's like, oh man, this pet little guy's a pest.
I love Latif.
And that's good.
Yeah, I love Latif Blessing, man.
Exactly.
The little engine that
could.
That's literally what he is. Like, yeah, absolutely. We still have Latif.
Except when Zlatan sent him flying.
Yeah. More importantly, we have a healthy, fully committed Carlos Vela back. Again, last year, he came way too early because he decided to not participate in the bubble tournament.
Right.
And then he came and thought he could just pick it right up. And of course, he suffered a pretty severe knee injury, and it took him out for like 3 months. And when he came back, it's just, again, with COVID, the team never got to hit their stride. But this year, no excuses, man. I mean, knock on wood, again, assuming everybody or most everybody stays healthy. Vela says he's gunning for that MVP again. And I like what he said. He said he's gunning for the MVP because he has to have that mindset for the team to do well. Because when he's playing his best, LAFC kind of fall. He's the barometer.
Right.
We go as he goes. He's our leader. He's our captain. So I'm excited. But yes, we did sign Corey Baird. He came from another, I think it was Real Salt Lake. I'm gonna have to look it up.
Another MLS player though.
Yeah,
MLS players are important because you got to have players who know the league. That's why I'm glad Galaxy also picked up Jorge Villafaña from Portland. So that's another big pickup for Galaxy. Galaxy, going back to Galaxy real quick, they brought in a player from the English Premier League, Jonathan Bond, as their new goalkeeper. That's another person I forgot to mention earlier. The Galaxy they made a lot of pickups. I mean, I think there's a lot of, additions by subtractions here because they've gotten rid of a lot of dead weight and they've added really good pieces like upgrades.
Wait, so
Jonathan Bond, a big upgrade.
So Pavon is still there? Pavon is still there? Because I know last time
Pavon is out.
Right, that's what I thought. Because I remember last time I heard an episode, you and Donald were talking, and Donald was over here like, yeah, Pavon on the team. And I was like, huh? I thought that dude was...
I told him right away, that was not Pavon. I don't think that was Pavon. But I guess all Argentinians look alike.
D-Bot with the problematic view. Over there.
No, it was the mask. The mask and the haircut made him look like Pavon.
I thought you say it was the mask and haircut that D-Bot was wearing or something that made him see him as Pavon. No. It's like, D-Bot, the mask goes over your mouth, not your eyes, man.
Oh, man, come on, D-Bot. D-Bot's recharging right now, recalibrating. Yeah. We're giving him all kind of crap over here.
Yeah, we miss you, D-Bot. We miss him, D-Bot.
We miss you, D-Bot. So the LAFC also added more players.
Yes. We also added South Korean player Kim Moon-hwan. I think that's how you pronounce it. I try my best, right. But he.
That sounds right to me.
Yeah, he's supposed to reinforce the defense for us. He's going to be, and what I like is these players are younger players that we got.
Yes.
So the idea
LAFC is really good about doing that.
Exactly. And to me, I don't know how much longer Vela is for this team and this league. I don't know. The thing about contracts in the MLS is they're not as public as they are for every other sport.
Very annoying about that.
I fucking hate that because it leaves you kind of guessing as to how long a player is going to be sticking around for.
Well, that's what makes me think, and this is why I'm going to bring this up to you now. Because I know the Chicharito signing was very public, and they said it was a 5-year deal. Like the option is after the third year at that point, the player club option after the third year. So I wonder if Vela's deal was very similar as well, because it's a designated player. So if that's the case, Vela may have had the third year option. What was it after going into last year, right? So if we're the fourth year of that 5-year deal starting this year, so I'm sure it's been picked up now. So I feel like there's another player option for next year potentially being his last year.
Your guess is as good as mine, man. That's
what I'm speculating.
Yeah.
So if this is his second to last year, next year being his last, do they get it done in those 2 years?
Absolutely, and that's why I'll make that bet with you 100 times over because I think LAFC.
So that would be $1,000.
There you go. Exactly. See what I did there? Well, no, that'd be $100,000. 100 times over.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I mean, once again, I am feeling a lot of positivity toward my team right now. I don't know if it's $1,000 worth of positivity.
Yeah, I need to capitalize it. Whatever your threshold is, like you tell me, and I'll meet you there. So are you like $300 sure? Just because.
What's the most expensive bottle of whiskey at Costco? That's about
by the case. They sell it by the case though. So
oh man, but we're excited. MLS is getting started up. And before we end soccer talk, we got to talk about El Clásico that happened, which was probably Messi's last Clásico, and Barca came up on the losing end. I was watching that game, and I immediately got hate from Sonny and Clipper Pablo for watching the game. They blame me every time I tune in to watch a Barca game. They think I'm a jinx. Maybe I am a jinx after this past game, but I had to see Messi's last Clásico.
The analytics bear out. We've been keeping track of the games that Alex tunes into and the games he doesn't, and what Barca's record is. And let me tell you, it doesn't look good. Every time Alex tunes in.
I'm sure it has nothing to do with the Messi's decline in skill or his age. I'm sure it has nothing to do with Barca not being able to sign players like they used to. I'm sure it has nothing to do with that. You're right. It's all my fault.
Exactly.
But I still had to check it out because this was possibly Messi's last Clásico. Favorite Messi Clásico moment. We know what it is, Sonny, but do you want to regale us with telling us what that is real quick? Because it was Messi's last Clásico, right?
I'm not as convinced as
you're not. What?
I'm not as convinced as D-Bot seemed to be when asked.
D-Bot says,
question.
this is his last Clásico.
Yeah, I'd say I'd put the odds still at 60-40, 60 that he leaves, 40 that he stays. And so that's not enough for me to confidently say, this is definitely his last. Okay. Funnier things have happened, man. There's all these reports coming out now that, and again, reports are still reports, but
right,
where there's smoke, sometimes there's fire. So
absolutely,
there's some reports suggesting that Neymar wants to find his way back to Barcelona again, which keeps going back and forth, back and forth.
At this point.
No, they're coming up again, and that's the thing. It's like you don't know what to believe. If you think like the gossip meter over here for sports is wild, it does not hold a candle to soccer in Europe, man.
Right.
Every day they're spying on like the moves these dudes are making. Like, he just bought a new car, which means, it's fuel efficient, which means he's now going to be driving here. Like they break it down to a science. So I would not be surprised if he stays, especially now that Barcelona have Joan Laporta as their president again, and he was their president. He oversaw the whole project when Barca was in their golden years under Pep.
Oh, wow.
And Messi you could argue, was at his happiest. Maybe Messi was at his happiest when Luis Suarez and Neymar were there, and that's another link that if somehow they are able to get Neymar back, I don't see, or Kun Agüero has been a rumor out there,
right,
as somebody that Barcelona would sign because Manchester City is not committed to him moving forward, and that's Messi's compadre.
Right.
I don't know, man. There's still, if Donald gave me odds, I'd bet him. If he's so confident that Messi's not going to return, I'd definitely take that bet. So
degenerate gambler, man.
So we'll see. I hope it wasn't his last Clásico because they took the L and he particularly had a horrible game. Mm-hmm. Although he did almost score an Olympico for a golazo, but which would have been amazing. But I don't know. I mean, obviously my favorite El Clásico moment, I'm biased. I was there, as I mentioned on this podcast before, when he hung the jersey, the game-winning goal in front of the Bernabeu, all of those Madrid fans, and it was like, I'll never forget that. I can die happy just knowing that I was there.
Hashtag never forget.
Never forget.
Heck
But yeah, what about you,
man?
man? What do you? So you think he's gone? You think he's out of here?
I don't want him to, because that's one of the main reasons I started.
You don't want him
following
to.
Barca.
You just talked a bunch of shit about him right now. You just said declining player that Messi
Well,
is.
'cause
He's
he is.
diminishing
Is he
skills.
not?
You're
I mean,
blaming
he's still
him,
the
not yourself,
GOAT.
for the loss.
Well, I gotta save some face here, man. But yes, I mean, Messi is still the GOAT when he shows. I mean, but let's be honest, he's not the Messi of a few years ago, right? When I would have, not since I've been watching, so of course it's my fault his skills have declined. But so I'll take the blame for that. I mean, I'm Father Time still undefeated, but yes, it's my fault. But yeah, because I just see the Barca shirt and I think Messi. So I don't want him to, as much as I would love to see him come play for Galaxy or MLS, right? Like just to see him play in person, like I just can't see him not in that Barca shirt.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like I don't want him to go anywhere else, but I also know that he's just so fed up in all those interviews.
Yeah.
So maybe he is done, no matter, and maybe it's irreparable at this point, but who knows? I mean, like 60-40, those are decent odds. I mean, those are good odds. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean,
you hear that, D-Bot? Cha-ching.
Make it happen, D-Bot. All right, before we go, UFC happened over this past weekend too. We got to give big ups to Daniel D-Rod Rodriguez, the fighting pride of Alhambra, California. SGV, stand up. Man, he looked good. He's 4-1 now in UFC, 14-2 overall in his MMA record. I mean, he's got to have a top-ranked opponent next in that welterweight division, man. That division is stacked. You got the title fight coming up later this month of Usman and Jorge Masvidal.
The rematch.
Man, look out for those. Watch your toes there, Jorge.
That's right.
Watch your toes.
The toe battle. Part 2.
The toe stompage.
Yeah.
Never forget.
Oh, my God.
But I want to see D-Rod take on Robbie Lawler next. Maybe.
Ooh.
Lawler's ranked 15.
Tasty.
That'd be a good fight.
Yeah.
That'd be two strikers just going at it, man. I mean, that'd be really good. I mean, because D-Rod just had his way with Mike Perry. And Mike Perry is no slouch. By the way, Perry after the fight said, I used to be good. I used to like,
Damn, shots fired even when you lose.
Right? Damn. And so yeah, that was a tough one for Mike Perry to take, but yeah, D-Rod had his way with him. So it was a clear unanimous decision win. I think one judge gave him a 10-8 round at 1.2, and it was all striking.
Yeah.
All striking. There's great 1-2s. D-Rod's got some great striking games, so he's a fighter to keep an eye on if you're a UFC fan like Sonny and myself.
Yeah, man. I'm hyped. I'm hyped with all these cards that are coming up. Especially when my boy Nate Diaz, just out of nowhere, they announced his fight with Leon Edwards, and I'm like, what?
Man,
this dude gets money fights when he doesn't even deserve them. Like, if he wins this fight, it's a money fight for him, obviously, for Leon Edwards, because it's the draw of Nate Diaz. But from a ranking standpoint, if Nate Diaz wins this fight, you could argue he's right there in contention for a shot. A title shot.
Well, because we still want him to take on Masvidal again, right? Like, we'll run it back again, even though Masvidal just dismantled him,
yes. But, again, was called a little bit prematurely due to some scar tissue.
I'm sorry, man. He was not... I love Nate Diaz. I love Masvidal, too. But Nate Diaz was not warming up in that fight, dude.
Nate Diaz gets you in the later rounds. They didn't even give him the chance. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that it was going to be a different outcome. I think Masvidal would have won, but I think it would have been a closer fight than what it ended up being up to that point. I love Masvidal.
Kind of like boxing Homer from The Simpsons. Where he lets the fighters punch themselves out and then just pushes them over.
At the end, exactly. That's his style, man. I mean, ask Connor how that worked.
Hey, man, Connor got owned by him. That was good. Yep. That was a good fight. All right. We're about to wrap up, but just check your feeds later on this week for a WrestleMania Lucha Royale recap. Sonny has some thoughts on WrestleMania that happened over this past weekend. What do you think of WrestleMania?
Look, I
Sonny?
only saw one, unfortunately, because of all the assignments out here. I only was able to tune into one match, and that was the one that mattered the most. And that was Bad Bunny. Babuni. Playa.
Playa.
Dude,
Commercial.
that dude is a legit player, dude. Like,
Yeah.
props to that guy for,
Estoy en mi pick.
dude, for this whole run, really.
Yeah.
Because when they first unveiled him, he was just like, what? You know, like, but he committed to this thing in a way that most celebrities don't. You know, they're kind of like half-ass in it, you know, unless you're like a Ronda Rousey or something like that, who has like a contract waiting for them at the end of their setup. But like Mike Tyson's the only other guy that I remember like kind of committing to this level. You could probably educate me on the lost years that I had with celebrities sold there. But
well, there's kicker Pat McAfee, who's recently been on NXT.
That's right, Pat McAfee. That's right. I forgot about that. He sold like the whole shoot and all that.
Yeah, he got the neck brace on his podcast and everything.
Yeah. That's true. I forgot about him. But Pat McAfee is not on the cultural wavelength as somebody as Bad Bunny, right? This is why I liken it to Mike Tyson, because it was like everybody knew who Mike
legit
Tyson
superstar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for that dude to buy into it and to see the match, and it was like, yeah, you could see like, you know, how the other wrestlers are trying their best to like work within the context of, you know, his abilities.
Right.
He committed, man. Like he put on a show to where I was like, all right, this is cool.
He looked like he gave a damn.
Exactly.
He trained. He tried to make these moves look good.
Exactly.
And it paid off.
Yes.
Because it looked good. I mean, he had... And WWE, credit to WWE for once for allowing this story to like kind of play out from beginning to end. Like they introduced him perfectly. Like, oh, I'm just going to perform at the Royal Rumble. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah.
And you got the Miz getting involved in breaking his DJ set from the very beginning. And like, no, he comes out later in the event and jumps on the Miz. So that story was just building, you know, paying off in an actual match beautifully there, a tag team match. And the highlight of the night, of course, is in that match when we see the old Canadian Destroyer being used, which is a, you know, somersault pile driver, which is not an easy move to do. And when done well, it looks amazing, and it came off amazing. Like Bad Bunny looked good doing it, and of course it was dubbed the Bunny Destroyer.
That's great. Yeah. So shout out to Bad Bunny, man. Like who kind of won me over, because from a music standpoint, and again, you can tune into the Fox Crate podcast to get thoughts on that. But from a music standpoint, I've been like fair weather on Bad Bunny. He's all right. He's nice. Yeah. But seeing what he's done in the WWE world has kind of won me over more. I'm like, all right, I'm a legit fan now, man.
Nice.
Like this is
yeah.
So you see, when you cross promote here and you go on other platforms, man, you never know who you're gonna win over like that when you do it right and when you give a damn, like Alex said. Like we give a damn here on the West Box Score.
And on the Fox Crate podcast. That's right. Check Sonny out on that podcast. Check him out on Instagram at the Fox Crate. Check out Donald and myself at West Box Score. Our media partner is Blue Wire Hustle. They are on Twitter at Blue Wire Hustle. Also, our Discord is here in the show notes. Be sure to check us out there. That's it for us this week. D-Bot, we love you, bro. See you next week.
Peace.